E come va? Ciao, sono Manu di Italy Made Easy, questo è Italian Accelerator. Cominciamo con la quinta lezione di Explainer associata all'episodio 6 di Italian Accelerator. In case you've missed it, please, oops, nothing came up. Please go watch the chat between Lisa and I where we speak Italian, and it's 100% natural, it's authentic, it's non-scripted, it's perfect. And it's subtitled, so that really helps. And then once you've done that, come back and we'll analyze all the expressions that we are left. That we still have a bunch. We may have to have we may have another episode about this. Let's see how quickly I can go through these ones, but I don't want to rush it because I want to give you the best that you can get from a lesson.
Però no, tu parli piuttosto pulito.
Pulito.
L'italiano.
No, ogni tanto mi piace intrufolare una parola romanesca perché dà colore ed è simpatica,
certo,
però sì,
certo.
non ho questo grande accento particolarmente riconoscibile.
Sì.
We're still talking about accents, and last week we left it to the saying that I speak standard Italian, which is quite unusual, so I don't have this accent that gives away where I'm from. And yeah, so here's what I say. Where are the expressions? Lisa says, tu parli piuttosto pulito. You talk rather clean. Now, she doesn't mean clean as in not swearing, although it could be used in that context as well. Pulito means clean, so you could use it in that context. But here she means standard. You polished. Well, polished and pulito, they come from the same word, don't they? So yeah, but the expression that I want to show you is the piuttosto. Piuttosto means rather, not the rather that you in English you have, I would rather do this and that, not that one. Rather as the adverb that we don't use much in English, followed by an adjective usually, rather handsome, rather interesting. So it's that kind of rather. So it's like saying quite handsome, quite interesting, but that's the rather, okay? So, and it works very easy in Italian. Piuttosto bello, piuttosto buono, piuttosto interessante. Sono piuttosto stanco, I'm rather tired. Sono piuttosto felice, I'm rather happy. So that's very easy, and it's a very good word that if you use it, it just steps up your Italian. Ogni tanto, every now and then, easy. Every now and then, I like to sneak in a word from the dialect. So ogni tanto, literally it means every so much, kind of, or every a lot. So it doesn't translate literally, but it's like saying every now and then. Ogni tanto mangio la pizza. Every now and then I eat pizza. Ogni tanto vado a Roma. Every now and then I go to Rome. So it's simply a match of every now and then. Fairly easy to use. You're not going to make mistakes. E intrufolare, it's a verb. It's quite cute, and it means to sneak in. So I said, mi piace intrufolare una parola di dialetto. I like to sneak in a word of a dialect. So intrufolare. You also have the verb intrufolarsi as reflexive, and that's when somebody sneaks into something. For example, usually it sounds that it's not legitimate, like you shouldn't be going there. So intrufolarsi in ufficio di notte, to sneak in the office at night, okay? So it's not sneak out, it's sneak in, okay? So it's got to do going in a place that you're not really supposed to be, and you're kind of like, okay. So that's what it is. But in this case, I just sneak in a word, okay? Very easy. Anche perché io sono cresciuto fino a 5 anni in provincia di Roma, da 5 a 11 in provincia di La Spezia, che è in Liguria, vicino alle Cinque Terre.
Sì.
Quindi sono passato
totalmente diverso
dal romanesco allo spezzino del nord. Poi a 11 anni sono tornato giù. Che c'è?
Guardate.
Ah, sì. Che vuoi? And here's the story. The reason why I don't have this strong accent is that I grew up near Rome, in Nettuno, so I picked up the accent, the romanesco, actually not really romanesco, but from my town. But then when I was 5, I moved up north near the Cinque Terre in a place called Lerici. Beautiful, beautiful place that not many people visit. So pretty. Lerici. And then I picked up the accent of that area, like Spezzino. And then I came back. And then I'm going to say that it's not actually the way it went. But here's the expressions. Actually, the first one is not really an expression, it's a cultural aspect. In provincia di Roma. In Italian, you will hear people talk about provincia a lot. So, in English you have the word province. So, provincia is a political boundary of a part of Italy, of a geographical area. So, provincia is like the county. It depends which country you are, so I'm not going to give you the right word, but it's like the county, the council. It depends, okay? So, provincia di Roma means the county or all the area that is controlled by Roma. So we have a ton of province in Italy. Each region has a number of, here's a word, I'm going to type it, so I'll replace this one with the word I want to teach you, is capoluogo. Capoluogo is the capital. It's like saying the capital. Don't confuse it with the capital though, because in Italy we only have one capital, which is Roma. La capitale d'Italia è Roma. So capitale or capital is capitale. Don't confuse. But capoluogo is like the state capital, okay? Or in our case, the region capital. So we have this. Capoluogo di regione. Oops. Which is the main city where the administration of that region is. For example, for Lazio is Roma, again. So it's the capital and the capoluogo di regione, obviously. For Campania is Napoli. For Toscana, it's Firenze, Florence. So that's the capoluogo di regione. So the administration for the whole region is there. But then each region has a number of provinces, okay? And then you would have, capoluogo di provincia. So that means that the town or city, in theory, the city that controls that county or council, whatever you want to call it, it's provincia in Italian, then that main city would be called the capoluogo di provincia. For example, even though Nettuno belongs to Roma, it's actually closer to Latina. Latina is another capoluogo di provincia. It's just another capital. I don't have the English for this. It's another administrative city that has some power within my region. So, just it's the way Italy is divided up. So you got regions, then you got autonomous regions, blah, blah, blah. You got regions, then you have provinces within a region, and then you have the city that controls that province. And then, of course, you have all the little comune or comuni, which is like the councils. So anyway, that was just a quick mention I wanted to do. Now, we're talking, and then I can see that Lisa is distracted, and I say, che c'è? Che c'è is the Italian equivalent of what's up, but not in, hey, how you going? Not that what's up, as in what's going on, what's happening. Che c'è? What's up? Okay, so I can see that she's worried, and I say, che c'è? What's up? Okay, in that sense. Somebody calls you, Manu, puoi venire qui? Manu, can you come over here? I get there. Sì, che c'è? Yeah, what's up? So it's like saying, yeah, what's happening? What do you want to tell me? Che c'è? Che c'è? Anni sono tornato giù a Roma, però sai, avendo già 11 anni, mi sono reso conto che... Ah no, non è andata così. Non è andata così. Quando sono andato a vivere in Liguria mi prendevano in giro perché parlavo con l'accento di Roma. Quindi dopo qualche anno ho perso l'accento di Roma e ho preso l'accento ligure. So I'm telling the story and then I realized that's not how it went, and then I say how it went. So the story that I'm starting to say is that having already or being already 11 years old, avendo già 11 anni, here's a usage of the gerund. This came up in the first explainer lessons for episode 6, using the gerund in Italian, which is different from English. Avendo già 11 anni. Because with age we use the verb to have, I'm gonna break English and say having already 11 years. Okay, so being already 11, so this works the same as English. But avendo già 11 anni, grew up in Rome and I spoke the dialect from Rome. Then I moved up north and then they made fun of me for having an accent. So I picked up their accent. But then At 11, I went back to Rome and I spoke with the other accent, and they made fun of me for having the other accent, so that's why I stopped, basically. But prendere in giro is the verb that means to make fun of somebody. Quindi prendere in giro Marco means to make fun of Marco. So you don't need to have the preposition of, like in English, like to make fun of somebody. Prendere in giro is to mock, okay? Quindi non mi prendere in giro, don't mock me or don't make fun of me. So prendere in giro, don't confuse it with portare in giro, which means to take somebody around. Portare in giro, to take somebody around, like the town, for example. Prendere in giro, you know, it is like to take for a ride, meaning, I don't know, do we say that in English? But to make some fun of somebody, really. So it doesn't mean to take for a ride, okay? It means to make fun. Poi, tornato a Roma. This also has come up in a previous episode of Accelerator, and it's tornato, using the past participle alone in a sentence without the auxiliary, which we always tell you that it's wrong, because you don't speak in the passato prossimo without the auxiliary. When we do, it's because we imply something. So here it means once returned to Rome. So once I was back in Rome. So in English you have a verb, but once returned to Rome. So we don't need to have the auxiliary when we mean that. So tornato a Roma. The examples that I used in the previous lesson was like, finita la cena, once finished dinner, once dinner was finished, so finita la cena, siamo andati a prendere un gelato. We went to get an ice cream. So, interesting, isn't it? Roma mi prendevano in giro perché parlavo con l'accento ligure.
Oh.
E quindi ho perso l'accento ligure, però non ho mai ripreso l'accento romano perché andavo già a scuola, mi sto istruendo, quindi capisco l'importanza di parlare italiano piuttosto che dialetto, e quindi poi alla fine non ho mai ripreso. So here's the story that I was saying, you know, about being made fun of and so on. And the expression that I would like to talk about is this. So because I was already 11, I was getting an education, I understood the importance of speaking proper Italian, not a dialect, so I kind of never picked it up. Parlare italiano piuttosto che il dialetto. Speaking Italian rather than the dialect. So piuttosto che is the Italian equivalent of rather than. Quindi preferisco mangiare pizza piuttosto che pasta. I would rather eat pizza than pasta. Okay. So piuttosto che rather than. These days Italians are using the piuttosto che in the incorrect way. Please don't do it. But if you hear people saying piuttosto che and it doesn't quite make sense to you because it doesn't fit in to say rather than, they're using it to mean or. I'm not even going to give you an example because it's horrible. I'll give you an example. Okay. You might hear Italians say devi studiare una lingua come l'italiano piuttosto che il francese piuttosto che lo spagnolo. They mean or Spanish or French. They don't mean rather than. Okay. It's bad. Horrible. Horrible, don't do it. Okay. And with this one, we conclude today's explainer lesson. The usual reminders, in case you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. You won't miss any of these lessons and other stuff that comes from my website, which is also a place that you should definitely visit. It's italianmedisi.com. E qui trovate tutti gli altri episodi della serie. Here you can find all the other episodes of the series. If you want to support the series, also there's a link to a support page, and we will all thank you for that. Grazie mille, ciao ciao, buona settimana.